Channel update time! Finger guns. Probably gonna get banned from YouTube for this. Yes, channel update time. We had ourselves a nice little break, a little, what we call it, a mental sanity break. I got to care for my kids a couple of weeks here in the summertime break. I got a lot of work to do break. Just, whatever kind of break you want. Do you like to take these sort of breaks during the summer? Can you take a vacation with your family during the summer? Or, are you a normal person and just work all the time except for whenever you take your explicit vacations? Since I'm self-employed, I don't exactly get paid any different when I take vacations, but at the same time, my workload doesn't change. So if I take 2 weeks off, that just means when I come back, I have 2 more weeks of work to catch up on. So typically I'm not one to take a whole lot of vacations, but the YouTube channel was one that we just kind of walked away from for just a little bit, just a couple of weeks. Have a little break, nice little stretch, nice little, what do I do with my arms? I got to think about that for a while. That's a pretty good part of this channel actually is, where do I look? Do I stare at you, the viewer audience inside the camera? What do I do with my hands? In normal life, I must admit, I never worry about what my hands are doing. I'm standing in line somewhere, just kind of doing like this. But I get on camera and then suddenly my arms feel like this. It's like, now we're gonna talk about these things and now I don't know what to do with my hands. So I'll just lay them right here for now and maybe point at you with the 5-shooter, double 5-shooters. Oh, we got a 10-shooter. Hey, maybe that's where the name came from. No, it's not. It's not. Let's see. I told you this was a channel update time. So let's talk about things. Let's see. Holmes Hobbies. No, never mind. I was going to talk about the new machine that we got delivered, and technically that's Holmes Motion Control that bought that machine. That is my CNC/engineering side gig firm. Whenever I do work for other companies, I don't want Holmes Hobbies to be in the thick of it. So if I do any contract engineering work, any fulfillment of electronics or CNC work, whether I do the CNC or whether I contract that out, I make sure that I push that through Holmes Motion Control, because that's what Holmes Motion Control does. And Holmes Hobbies is really just the hobby side of things, these products, all these fun things here. So Holmes Motion Control, my other job, I guess, it's got a new CNC machine, new 1999 Brother TC31A drill and tap center. It's got a 30-something tool changer belt thing, whatever it is. I'm not sure. I have never had a mill of this caliber. I've never had a Brother machine before, and it's sitting on my dock right now. I still haven't cracked it open to take a look at the machine. So we'll get to that this afternoon after this, actually, and check it out. But I'm really, really excited for that. Since it was used, since it's an older machine, this is going to be a big change for me, as opposed to having the really big lathe that I had. The very big lathe that I had was nice and new and shiny, and I had a nice new shiny payment for it every month, which means that I had to work. I had to bring in a certain amount of contract work, or else I would go broke and they would take the machine back from me and I'd lose all my money and all that kind of stuff. So that was a very serious job, as you can imagine, owning that previous lathe, Mazak QTN250 MSY, I think. Yeah, quick turn Nexus 250 MSY. Had the sub spindle, that's the S. Had the Y axis up and down 2 inches, that's the Y. I don't know what the M stands for though. Maybe like live tooling or something. Anyway, I don't got that machine anymore, nor do I have the fancy machine payment. This one, the Brother TC31A drill and tap center, it doesn't have a payment because it was a nice low-cost used machine, and the only thing that I need to do now is buy tooling, which fortunately I just had a contract engineering job, and it is actually going to let me tool this machine up without having to, kind of step my way up. It was really nice, actually. It's from some ESC engineering, nothing you need to worry about. Technically, I can't even tell you about it, and I'm probably going to be in trouble just for mentioning that I did the work. So we got this new mill. What am I going to be doing with it is probably what you're thinking. Let me know in the comments if that's what you were thinking this entire time. What am I going to do with this mill? I don't know. if I don't have a payment, then I don't have to run it, which means I can just make toys with it. Honestly, this is why I got it. It's a toy for myself. A very expensive, very large, heavy toy that requires a very expensive compressor, which I already have, and it requires a very expensive 3-phase hookup coming into the building, which I already had. So I'd already spent all the money. I still have all the tools left over. When I sold the old lathe, I did not sell any of the tooling except for some of the live tooling holders that went inside the machine, but all of my collets, all my collet holders, all of my end mills, all that I still have. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be really fun, but there will be a learning curve. I do have a couple of projects. There's some prototype parts that I want to make, of course. There's some parts for a tree trimming company here in town. They have one of those bucket trimmers, and it's got these feet that go down, and those feet have plastic Delrin. It's actually acetyl plastic. Delrin maybe is branded Delrin. Plastic feet for it, and they're relatively expensive. And guess what? When you have a 5,000-pound machine with acetyl plastic feet that are only that thick and bolted into it, well, you can guess what happens if that foot sets down a little bit crooked or, on like a rock on one side. They freaking break. Why do they use acetyl plastic? It's cheap to machine, really no cheaper than aluminum though. This is one of those things where you think maybe they made it out of plastic so that it would break in time, maybe, or maybe so that you could put it on concrete without it marring the concrete or the machine, and you would just have these wear pads as a replacement part. That's kind of what I was more than likely thinking, is that they would have some sort of wear part besides all the other wear parts on the machine, but that these were kind of a easy to service wear part. But they charge enough money for it that I can actually make a set of 4 cheaper as a one-off contract machinist for this tree trimming company. I can remake them all the feet in aluminum for cheap, relatively, to them buying all new feet. So that's probably going to be one of the first projects. Holmes Motion Control, it doesn't really specialize in RC stuff. We do RC stuff. Me, it's only me. I make it sound big and fancy. It's really just me. I've got no employees there right now. At any rate, we just do any work that needs to be done, honestly. And sometimes that's just being a machine shop. Sometimes that's design work. Sometimes it is actually motor speed controllers and, the things that you would assume that Holmes Motion Control does. So that's one of the projects. There are actually some motor parts that I'm wanting to make. I don't want to get stuck doing all my motor parts though. So I'm gonna do some parts that I know aren't gonna be, like super popular. So I can just make like a few hundred of them and then walk away from that project for like a year. And we probably won't even sell them. You'll know when I'll tell you when I release them. But let's see what else. That's really like the big thing right now in my life that's going on, is that I'm preparing for this machine install. It's sitting on the dock. I got the electric there. I'm waiting for my phase tester. I need to make sure that the phases are in the right order going into the machine. It's just like a normal sensorless motor, to where you have 3 wires, and if you flip-flop 2 of the wires, the machine is essentially backwards, but it's only going to want to be in one direction, which I hope is the standard. Whatever the standard is, my little thing will tell me. So I guess we'll find out. I tried asking the previous owners about it, and they're like, yeah, we always have an electrician come in and do it. And guess what there is a large lack of in my area of the country? 3-phase machine electricians. They just aren't around, honestly. Unless it's like hooking up a 3-phase motor, and then if it runs backwards, you know what you do? You switch 2 wires. No big deal. In the case of a machine that has a lot of other components on it, it might be a little bit more complicated. And the last thing that I want to do is hook this thing up and then have it fry because I got a phase reverse or something like that. So I'm going to be really careful, really cautious. We're going to install it. We're going to take our sweet time. We're going to get some more tooling for it, and within maybe a month or 2 I'll be cutting some parts. I'm not pushing hard on this. There is no payment, like I have said 18 times already, so I am not in a hurry. And it's beautiful. It's like a retirement machine that it can just sit there and collect dust, which it's been collecting dust for the last 6 months where it was. So it's not going to be very upset about collecting dust for a couple more months. Having said that though, this afternoon I'm going to clean it up, get all the grease off of it, clean the inside out really well, and just make sure that everything's in pretty good condition, and start to go over the wiring, making sure I know how to hook everything up. Let's see what else. That's really the big thing in my life right now. I'm really excited to get a CNC machine again, at least a big one, something with a multi-tool changer. The TAG, I've got a couple of TAG machines and they work great for small stuff, but you have to change the tooling out, and not only is that a big hassle, but it really turns me off for manufacturing stuff. If it's a one-off, if I'm doing little work, I'll flip the part, I'll change out the tools, no big deal. But if I really want to make something, I'm kind of a lazy machinist now, not gonna lie. I want to design the part in CAD. I want the CAD software more than likely to push that cam to the machine for me. I want to be able to press a button and watch it cut. So I got a machine that I can do that with. It's nice. It's pretty nice. Let's see, what else? No new products right now that I can talk about. Of course, we are working on some new products at Holmes Hobbies, some really cool ones that I wish I could tell you more about, but we'll wait on that. If you do have any questions about things like, I don't know, CNC machines or, where babies come from, I'll do my best to get to your comments down below, so leave them there and I will do my best. As always, thanks for tuning in, and I do hope that you have a great day.